Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I will be giving my commentary on Carlos King's interview with reality TV show producer and music industry manager Mona Scott Young. He actually says something during this interview about how on-air talent, how they will come after Black producers of reality TV, but they do not have that same energy for the white producers. So we're going to get into it. Now, before we do, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. You hear us content creators ask you to do that all the time. The reason why we do is because then YouTube will push this video out through its algorithm, meaning that it will recommend this video to more people who enjoy discussing the various topics surrounding Love and Marriage Huntsville. And we all know that Carlos King's production company, Kingdom Reign, produces LAMH. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you. All right. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on this soundbite is allowed for criticism. Okay, so I actually watched this interview on Wednesday, and I have my notes here. It was during the raging wind and thunderstorm. Okay, and so this was the video that I planned on making after. I was going to make it late at night because I was enjoying Pinky the housewife give her commentary on Black Titanic's hearing that she had this week with Maurice Scott. So I was enjoying her live, and I already had my visual, I already had the soundbite, I already took notes. I just wanted to first enjoy Pinky the housewife, and then I was going to make my video. And the storms were raging, and as they were, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I think my power is going to go out. And sure enough, it did. So I did not get to finish enjoying Pinky the housewife, nor did I get a chance to make this video, as we all know. But thank God for cell phone data. That is what I'm running on until the Wi-Fi gets back up. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So he interviewed Mona Scott Young. During this interview, I learned that she worked in the music industry, in management, particularly for rappers in the 1990s. And then we all know, obviously, that she broke into reality TV production on VH1 with Love and Hip Hop New York. And then she created other franchises, including Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Hollywood, and Miami. All right, so she and Carlos, they actually worked together on the Atlanta spinoff of the series. So that is where Carlos King, one of his earlier jobs in production was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And then we know that he moved on to Bravo, The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Atlanta, and so on and so forth. And then he landed on the OWN network. So I want to go ahead and get into this soundbite where Carlos King brings up, I guess, a pet peeve of his, where on-air talent, they bring up or kind of blame Black producers for how they are portrayed on their respective reality TV show.
You got blamed for, because she said like, oh, I told Mona I did not want Yandy to come to my after party for the engagement, whatever. What I find interesting is you're not the only executive producer there. Right. There were two white men who owned the company that were doing it. What I find to be normal, unfortunately, is that when it comes to Black producers like me and you don't blame the white producers.
Never. Right. Never ever.
Let's have a real conversation.
Right. Yeah. Never ever.
Like if you think I'm some wizard who's doing things on my own,
right?
If you think I run this entire operation on my own, that I'm able to snap my fingers and have everyone bow down to me. So the fact that sometimes talent can pass up the white producers and go to the Black woman, the Black man, and say, I blame you. Does that make you upset? Because it's like, If you're gonna blame producers, blame all of us. Don't single me out.
Don't single me out. I mean, it's a little hard for me, right? Because one, I think a big part of it was because I had the direct connection with them, right? Two, it's because like everyone considered, like I would say to them all the time, I do not own Paramount, I do not own Viacom, I do not own VH1, right? This show is their show. This show is on their network. So yes, we're not the end all be all, but what would really bug me more than anything, not so much that they lashed out at me because I could rationalize that, but that they never lashed out at them, right?
Yes.
I understand that maybe you're going to say it's because you're the person I spoke to, Mona, or you're the name of the thing. Okay, but you never have anything to say to them, which what bothers me about that is I think it speaks to the way we see each other, right? It is acceptable, right, to lash out, publicly berate, say things that are damaging, injurious, even if they're untrue about another person of color, but you would never dare do the same. My husband calls it the white man's ISIS culture, right? He says there is this attitude that somehow they are revered and to be positioned separately and not to be treated or dealt with in the same way, but we will do it to each other all day, every day, right? And tear each other down and say whatever we want to say about each other, but would never dare or fix our mouths to, say the same about someone who we perceive as more powerful, better than, I don't know.
No, I think a lot of it is white is right, and we've been,
Yes.
let's talk about conditioning. We've been conditioned as a community from our great-grandmothers, grandmothers, or mothers when we were little kids, and we would go to the grocery store or we'd go to church, and we heard from these people, don't you embarrass me around these white folks.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Don't you embarrass me around these white folks as if the white folk was superior,
Yes.
and we had to behave a certain way.
Right. Yes.
And that's a lot of the reasons why black reality shows
We're about
from
to
the black
slide and segue right into that.
about
Yes.
about the black audience and
Yes.
the black consumer, the black population, me and you get read a lot about the shows we do.
Mm-hmm.
There's other shows, 99%. Let's have a real conversation.
Mm-hmm.
99% of black reality shows are produced by white-owned production companies.
Absolutely. Yes.
Those black
We have the few fully owned black physical production companies.
yeah.
You and I. Right.
And the thing that you and I have noticed, we don't clap back. I'm not getting into it with you.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
but the downside to that is this the airs out there of like, well, people said this about you, but it's not true. Well, you didn't say anything because if I say something, I'm unprofessional.
Well, two things for me. If I say something, I'm unprofessional. But more importantly, if I say something, it's not going to matter because you've already decided what the truth is, right? So now I'm going to engage. But more importantly for me, I know that those outbursts are more a function of how mad you are at yourself for whatever it is you did. I'm just the easy target for you, right? And I just don't subscribe to the notion that two wrongs make a right? You're never going to get me to do something that I do not feel I want to do. And this is what I've said to the cast over and over again when they're about to go into a difficult situation. I'm like, I don't care how pissed someone makes you. I don't care. You have the ability to control yourself, control your emotions, control your responses. It is never, for me at least, about someone else's action because I have no control over that. It is 100% always about my reaction because that's what I can control. So you could go out there and wall out on social media and do whatever you want to do. If I do not choose to engage because there is no benefit to me for engaging, right? One, whether it's because I'm just going to make a situation worse because now we're going back and forth for what purpose, or two, I don't care what this egg for a profile picture thinks about me because they don't know me. Well, I'm not laying up at night wondering what 77 hot boy thinks about me, right? I'm not going to allow you to to move me to do something that is outside of the scope of how I choose to conduct myself. That's just never going to happen, right? There's nothing anybody else can do. You cannot move me to a point where I have lost control, because that.
Okay, so you heard that soundbite. Now, I feel like Carlos is kind of attaching himself to how people blame Mona Scott Young for how Black people are portrayed on Love and Hip Hop. I think that he is trying to connect the two when, in my opinion, they are different. So, first, I want to start off with Mona. Now, over the years, people would try to say that Mona Scott Young was responsible for the way that Black people appeared on the Love and Hip Hop shows. I always felt like that was unfair to her because she is not holding a pow pow up to anyone's head, forcing them to sign a contract and film for a TV show, knowing that they cannot control how the producers will edit the footage that they provide because they're in the scenes and they're filming the confessionals. I don't think that Mona Scott Young can control anyone to the point where she can make them physically fight or throw drinks on someone else. The things that we typically see, in some scenes on Love and Hip Hop. I believe that that is a reflection of the individual's choices. You may even want to add to that their upbringing, if they experienced any trauma, poverty, grew up without a parent, was not taught anything about God or self-respect, self-love. We can go on and on about different things that a person may not have been given. No one poured into them. No one mentored them. No one raised them properly. And it could reflect in their choices and in their behavior. That's just basic math, in my opinion. I believe, obviously, Carlos King has heard this narrative about how people try to blame Mona Scott Young for some cast members' behavior on the Love and Hip Hop shows. And I think that he's told himself, yeah, people blame me for how, men treat women on the shows that I produce. Now, can Carlos King force an adult to do something that they don't want to do? No, I don't believe that. But do I think that he could be assisting people with their storylines? Perhaps giving them ideas to execute on? Yes, I do. I just made a video earlier today about Wanda speaking on one of her Instagram lives this week where she talked about she loves seeing a plan come together. And that for scenes on a reality TV show, the producer talks to you beforehand. Couple that with Maurice Scott's video where he wanted some bloggers to take down videos and issue him an apology within a certain time frame. And he said in that video that he spoke with Carlos King. That is why some viewers feel like he has his hands in certain storylines that favor some and are unfair to others. And, he kind of condones the gang up on Melody, on Love and Marriage Huntsville, allegedly, and in my opinion. Also, when he brought up on-air talent really going off on the Black producers and not the white ones. Now, have I ever starred on a reality TV show? No. Have I ever produced one? No. So I do not know. I can't speak to that saying, oh yeah, it's been my experience, or I've seen this, or I've witnessed that. What I can say is that in a lot of different industries, even in corporate America, the really high executives, you might not ever meet them in person or see them in person. And yeah, they may be white, they may be of the Caucasian persuasion. And then your immediate supervisors, your immediate team leads, or whomever you report to, they may be people of color, they may be Black. With that being said, I don't know the hierarchy within production for reality TV shows. Is it a thing for the employees, the workers who are in the field and calling the cast and trying to find out things about them like Sunny was for Destiny? Is it a thing for the majority of them to be Black? for those who film the confessionals and ask those interview questions, is it common for them to be Black? We know that on Bravo, some of those producers that run those confessionals, we've seen them be white, like on Atlanta with Drew Sidora when she had to talk about her divorce, and we see the white man get up from his seat and hold her hand. And Monique Samuels, when she was on Potomac, she took a picture with a white male producer and propped him out, saying that she loved working with him. And Carlos said also in that soundbite that 90% of Black reality TV shows are produced by white-owned production companies. But I will say this, Carlos, we don't hear a lot of different names of Black producers. Literally, like I know Mona Scott Young and you. And then, you know, again, every now and again, you'll see a reality TV star take a picture of a producer that they work closely with that they really enjoy. But the names out there for reality TV shows, it's you. It's like you and it's like Mona. So I say that to say, I don't think that on-air talent, they're going around just bashing all of the Black producers that they work with whenever they get an unflattering edit. I don't think that is this general casting a net on Black producers. We're not hearing any other names. It just circles back to you. But I think that he took that opportunity while interviewing Mona to talk about how she kind of gets the judgment and the brunt of other people's actions on her shows. He attached himself to that for when viewers take issue with him for allowing the fake storylines and the gang up on Melody. He's like, oh yeah, they're the same. But I thought that that was interesting. Now, if you wanted to get to know more about Mona, definitely check out the interview on Carlos King's YouTube channel. He asked her, you know, about being married. He complimented her husband, saying he's fine. And she talked about how, you know, they have kids. And when her kids were small, her careers were popping, you know, both her management and producing reality TV shows. And their kids were involved in lots of activities. And her husband said, look, I'll stay at home and I'll take care of the kids while you work, you know, while you do what you're great at. And she talked about how that balance has been such a blessing to their marriage. And they respect each other. She said she doesn't emasculate him for being the stay-at-home dad. And, you know, he doesn't treat her like she's a weirdo for being such a hard worker and being the majority breadwinner. You know, he doesn't try to flip that on her and make her feel bad or less of a woman. So I thought that that was interesting conversation, something new that I learned about her. And she talked about how Missy Elliott, you know, we all know her as the rapper, the music producer. She was on a record with Gina Thompson in the 90s, and Mona Scott Young approached her. She said, yeah, I heard you on this record. I think you're great. I'd love to produce you. And she said that Missy Elliott said, yeah, I get it that I was on that record, but I really don't want to be a performer. I want to produce for other artists. So no, thank you. And, you know, obviously Missy Elliott went on to create music herself in addition to producing for others. So I enjoyed the interview just for the nostalgic feeling and her talking about artists from the 90s. She mentioned working with like A Tribe Called Quest. You know, that's Q-Tip, he's fine. And she talked about other artists from the 90s. So I thought that that was fun. And again, she talked about her marriage. And, you know, Carlos, he tried to attach himself to her experience as a producer of reality TV. But definitely let me know in the comments, what do you think about Carlos's comment saying that on-air talent, they never have any critiques for white producers, knowing that 90% of reality TV shows are produced by white-owned production companies? And what do you think about, you know, him almost saying, you know, he said, you know, like, if you think that I'm a wizard and I can snap my fingers and make something happen, you know, you're right. You know, what did you think about him trying to say that he isn't involved really, and he can't control how people are portrayed on reality TV. I thank you all so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. I have a lot of Thanksgiving in my heart, especially when like things are like rocky or unstable. And so I'm thankful for what I do have, right? I'm thankful all of my needs are met. I'm thankful that my power is back on and I just need the Wi-Fi. And I am thankful for cell phone data and for the views that I've gotten so far today after being out of commission for 5 days since I made a video. Thank you, YouTube, for when you did recommend these videos to people today. I'm thankful for wherever I stand in the algorithm at this moment. So not just you all stimulating the video by hitting the like button works, but also us content creators creating the content. That stimulates the content as well, is the consistency. So hopefully YouTube will be merciful, because this is the first time that I have been inconsistent, going several days without producing content. So thank you all again for checking out this video. Please hit the like button, as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. So now that I have created some videos and it's made me happy, now I'm gonna focus on heading out to the gym. I'm gonna grab some groceries, and I believe I will make another video tonight. So I will see you all in a few hours. Bye.